Hi, and welcome to this month's installment of our Client of the Month. I'm really proud to introduce to our fans and clients and those that are just curious that are looking on, Jeff Sessions, Client of the Month.
Well, thank you.
And you know, the dubious honor comes with an obligation to be our spokesperson for the next 30 days.
No, I didn't know
A daily
that.
press conference requirement, you know, nothing too onerous, just some public appearance schedules, that kind of thing. Kiss a few babies, you understand. No, but in all seriousness, Jeff, really an outstanding result in your case. You were hurt in a car accident. You bring a really unique set of perspectives as a client to your case. You waited, what, a year before you ever hired us, didn't you?
I did.
And what was the reason that you not only waited, but that you felt like you had no alternative after the year to get us involved?
Well, I'll kind of refresh your memory if you've forgotten. I was actually I was actually on a camping trip in Fort Pickens, and I called you about 2 to 3 days after the accident, told you that I had been in an accident and that, you know, after the kind of shock wore off, that I was starting to experience some neck and thoracic back pain. And your recommendation was to come see you, and you said, you know, my door's always open. And you know, it was an accident that happened while I was taking a deposit to the bank. So, you know, my employer pays workman's comp on me, so I just figured that, you know, I would use that benefit that, you know, he takes out of my paycheck every other week. And boy, was I was sadly mistaken about how John's Eastern Insurance Company, and I shouldn't just pick on them, that just happened to be the insurance company that the county used, but any workman's comp insurance is just kind of like you had told me when I first got involved in this case. The workman's comp system is broken. You didn't break it and I didn't break it, but you said it's certainly broken, and I found out, unfortunately, the hard way
That proved to be true. They had you go into their choice of doctors. Those doctors really weren't getting it done for you. You just weren't having any success with your treatment.
I went to the first doctor 3 different visits, and with thoracic back pain and neck pain. I left with no medication, which, you know, I wasn't there to get pain meds or whatever, but I left with no medication, no x-ray, no MRI, and 3 different visits. My first doctor told me to roll a tennis ball up and down my back. That was his solution to my auto accident. So then, under the law, I wrote John's Eastern a letter and informed them the problems that I was having with my first doctor, and they said that under the law that I had a one-time where I could switch.
You had limited results from your comp system. We swapped you over to the personal injury side, but you didn't hire us for a year, right?
Correct.
And what was it that was finally the reason that you said, hey, I've got to get Marcus involved?
I called you and you said, hey, if you're going to stay in this workman's comp game, just at least call me before, when they refer you a doctor, at least call me and let me know who it is. So they finally, after...
And let me tell the audience this. You have the right to make a change, but they can influence that change, and they can send you right from the frying pan to the fire. So I wanted to make sure you didn't misfire with your one choice to change. Right?
Well, and actually, you kind of pointed out a misfire when finally they had someone from workman's comp that got involved, that got me scheduled to get a epidural shot in my thoracic spine. I called you, I told you what doctor it was, and you said you were a brave man if you let that guy stick a needle in your spine. And at that point, I knew that this was a bigger picture than I could handle by myself. And that's when I came in and said that I want to hire you to handle my personal injury case, because I could tell that I wasn't dealing with the A-team as far as doctors were concerned.
And you're an educated guy. You're a resourceful guy. You know a lot of people in the community. You've got lawyers in the family. You're not your average client. But in fairness to our viewer, you're not the average client to me. We're friends, and I knew you, and you knew me before this ever happened to you. So when I was trying to help you about choosing doctors, I wasn't even representing you at that time. I just didn't want you to make a mistake. And you were trying to handle this on your own.
I was.
But realized at some point you just weren't going to be treated fairly.
Well, I realized that when the workman's comp system, that the workman's comp insurance company hires the doctor and there's just a conflict of interest. They don't want the doctor to spend money, so spending money in patient care is a conflict in that system.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had to wind up pursuing a personal injury case to get my medical to get my medical bills paid and to be treated properly.
And you ended up with about $50,000 in medical bills and some surgery, in fact.
I did. I had, gosh, I was sent to probably in my opinion, the two best doctors in the Panhandle in their field. Jeff Buckhalter is a pain management doctor. Is just unbelievable. Bedside manner, very conservative. We're going to try some shots in this area. He did, and on the third shot, after we didn't really get a good result, then he said, Jeff, the next step is to let's look at doing a radio frequency nerve burn. So he went in and actually burned the nerve where it could not communicate pain, and that was a real successful procedure.
Yeah. The problem with the radio frequency ablations is that the nerve regenerates. So the treatment obviously has to be repeated generally 12 to 18 months down the road.
It does. I've talked to people that have had to have it over 6 and 12-month periods. I've talked to a couple of people. Another friend of mine had one 7 years ago in his neck and has never had a pain since.
Great.
So, it's real hit or miss with that.
And I know you want to throw a bone to Dr. Giovannini, your favorite neurosurgeon.
I do. I went actually and got an opinion from him. Anytime that you go under anesthesia, I certainly want a second opinion. And Dr. Giovannini, he was basically the one that also concurred with Dr. Buckhalter's that a radio frequency would be definitely the thing that he would do in my case.
Let's skip to the happy ending. Got a great result. The insurance company played hardball with us for a little bit, but you didn't cave. We fought them, and I'm proud to say got you a great result. I mean, sometimes it's hard to measure apples to apples. Every case is different. But I can tell you, I think with all the consultations that you were able to achieve outside of the firm, we exceeded even my expectations on what we were going to be able to get for you. So congratulations.
Without a doubt. My stepfather has been in the personal injury business. He was in the personal injury business for about 25, almost 30 years. And he told me what my case was worth. And he's had many, many cases. And we got about twice what he thought my initial case was worth. So
I should have negotiated a better fee deal. No, we got paid plenty. But the point is this. I think the message for those that are watching, if you stick to your convictions, you force the insurance companies to do the right thing, you force them to provide competent medical care, you make good decisions about which doctors you're going to see and trust their judgment, and then you toe the line, man. You just refuse to bow down to the pressure of a corporate insurance company, and you can flat out force them to meet your agenda.
Well, I learned through this process that the insurance companies are in the business to collect premiums and not to pay benefits.
That's capitalism, my man. Sometimes this like a good neighbor thing and we're on your side, it's all just kind of a sales pitch, and you don't realize that until you're sitting in a room like this one talking to a lawyer about your injuries, right?
No doubt about it.
Okay. Well, Jeff, congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm so happy for you to get a great result and appreciate you cooperating with us and being our second client of the month.
Well, thank you.
All right.
I appreciate the hard work you
Good
did
luck
on my
moving
case.
forward.
Thank you.
Okay. For those of you that are interested, give us a call. If you heard a story about personal injury or you know somebody you want to nominate for our client of the month, just give me a call. I'm Marcus here at Michles Booth. We'll see you next month.